What's up, Facebook? It's Amanda Fisher from AmandaFisherCoaching.com, and I help moms channel their unshakable self-confidence, right? Using simple but powerful food and movement strategies to get your body and your mind feeling freaking incredible. Let's just say this honestly, in the least amount of time as possible, because I know that y'all want to get on with living your real life, right? Because I do too. In every single episode here, you guys, I can promise you one thing. You're going to find like an instantly applicable tip or action step, or in today's case, 3 that you can take right now and run with it in your own food and movement routine. To like fast track you into feeling good in your body and in your mind, like literally fast tracking you to exploding your self-confidence, right? Today is no exception. I'm actually going to give you 3 tips to kind of pep talk you through this, right? So I know what happens. You're like, I want to be a healthy eater. I want to eat healthy. And then you're like, you get eye rolled by your family, or they're like, that's gross. What you want to eat, I don't want to eat. That's gross, right? Or in my case, sometimes your kids are like looking at it and they're like looking at you, and then they're looking at the food on the plate, you know, and they're like trying to calculate like what happens next. And we're going to talk about this today. Here's the thing. We as moms get into the habit, this is going to be an unexpected pep talk, okay? But you also need to hear it. We as moms get into the habit of doing everything and making everybody happy for the people that we live with, our family, right? And then we're like, I'm just going to shove my needs to the side. They don't matter because I just want to make everybody else happy. Cool. We're going to stop that shit today, because that's actually making you kind of miserable and making everything about healthy eating harder than it needs to be, okay? So hear me out on this. Raise your hand if you're like, before you think about what you want to eat as a mom, or as a person for that matter, for supper, you're mentally calculating like if that's allowed, you know, by your family, will they like it or will they eat it, right? It happens to the best of us. Like sometimes it's not worth the battle of wanting to make what you want to eat, right? Because you just don't want to hear another like, that's gross. But also sometimes it's like, wait, I'm always kind of pushing my own preferences, taste, flavors, needs aside for everybody else. And today we're going to talk about that because it makes us miserable. It makes us like kind of mundane a little bit. Like, wait a minute, when do my needs matter? And they always matter. Cool? So let's have a little mindset shift today. I want to teach you three little hacks, not hacks, tips, tricks, things that you can take away and run with right now to help you get out of that pattern, okay? When you're like, I want to eat in a certain way, I want to be a healthy eater, but my family doesn't necessarily want to do it. So tip number 1, when you are kind of like planning out what you guys are going to eat throughout the week, right? Do you sit down and do that? Do you sit down and sketch out like a 5-minute meal plan? I have a couple videos on that. If you need some help with that, let me know. When you're sketching out what you guys want to eat, here's what I actually recommend. Number 1, you ask your kids what they want to eat for their week, right? Because you're getting their buy-in. You're getting their buy-in, and then you're actually making things that they want to eat, which means they likely will eat a bit better, which is awesome, right? Especially if you have picky eaters. Number 2, did you ask your husband what he wants to eat? Because that's important too, right? He's a member of the household. What does he want to eat? Let's make sure to put that on the menu. Number 3, this is important. Did you ask yourself what you want to eat, what you could really go for this week? Because we're going to put that sucker on the menu as well. I get it that we like to make everybody else happy, and we're always in the business of making everybody else happy, but I also want you to take that same application and apply it to yourself. What could you really go for on your family menu this week? Because we're going to put that on there, right? So yes, ask your people what they want to eat, your husband and your kids. Cool. But also have the decency to ask yourself what you would like to eat, right? And put that stuff also on your family menu for the week, okay? So always, always, always put something that you want to eat on there as well. Cool. Tip number 2, there are meals that you eat away from your family, right? For me, for many meals, that's lunch and that's breakfast. I don't eat those meals typically with my family except for the weekends. Those are like my opportunity to eat however the hell I want to, right? Because during those meals, I don't have to share, right? I shared my body for 42 weeks when I was growing my humans. I don't have to share my food, when they're out of the house. And that's how I like to think about it. So tip number 2, what opportunities do you have at lunch? Yes, I hope you're actually taking and eating lunch during work and not working straight through it or figuring out a way to get that done somehow, because eating is important, right? How could you make yourself a lunch that you're excited to eat? That you don't have to care what everybody else thinks about it. That you can eat what you want to, right? The things that you're craving. The way that you want to put a little bit of extra protein or produce on your plate or build yourself a kick-ass salad, right? How do you want to eat for lunch? Because you don't have to share that one with your people, right? Tip number 3, same principle, but let's apply it to breakfast. I have a client who is kicking ass at packing herself breakfast snack plates during the day for kind of for her morning commute and that morning first hour at work. She doesn't really want to eat a lot of breakfast in the morning, but she feels really good about having snacky things that she can grab and go with and take with her. She also doesn't have to share them with anybody, a husband or kids, right? How could you build yourself a kick-ass snack plate for breakfast that you feel really, really good about eating, and that gives you that productive hit of energy, that light feeling energy that kind of fuels your energy and also gets the job done. It keeps you satisfied until almost lunch, right? So some ideas for you, a mozzarella cheese stick and a beef stick. Chop those up into little bite-sized pieces, right? Add some sliced apple or grapes, add some crunchy crackers, and add some baby carrots or whatever. Maybe, I don't know what else you want to eat on there. Maybe a couple cubes of cheese. Cool. Munch the hell out of that and enjoy it on your way to work while you have maybe 15 minutes of quiet time to yourself, right? So I get it. I get it. We're kind of in the bit, we're moms, so we're always thinking about everybody else. But at the same time, that is we're used to always thinking about everybody else, which means we forget to think about our own needs and what matters to us. So I'm here to remind you that your needs matter too. And that includes the foods that you like to eat, the way that you want to feel when you're eating, and taking that and running with it and making it your own, right? So if you want to be a healthy eater, cool. You don't always have to rely on your family to buy into that. You get to set the standard for yourself, right? You don't always have to do what everybody else does. That's self-confident AF, right? Now, I want to hear from you. What is your biggest struggle as somebody who wants to eat healthy, right? But she also loves food. She would call herself a foodie. She would be I am one of those people who lives to eat. My love language is food. What is your biggest struggle? I want to hear about it. Tell me in the comments, because I have something super jazzy coming to you as in a form of a free resource, and I want you to get first dibs on it. But first, I need your help in telling me what your biggest struggle is, right? You love to eat, but you want to make it healthy. Oh my God, what happens next? Tell me where you struggle. All right, guys. Bye-bye.